Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is me, Tate, once again with another London Film Festival review on day one of the festival. Yes, I'm going to be talking to you today about a film that, I'll be honest, not many people saw, and it's called The Mission. I don't think many people even know this film exists, and there's an interesting story as to why I went to go review this film. But please, before we go into things, make sure you follow us on all of our social medias. And the reason why is because we are doing so much this year at London Film Festival that you're going to miss films like this. You're going to miss films that we say suddenly, oh, we're going to go and watch this one or anything like that. So myself, George, we're going to be all over the social media throughout the entire festival. We're going to be updating everyone with what we're seeing, whether we get any kind of red carpet interviews or anything like that. So please follow us on our link tree there. That'll give a link to all of our social media accounts, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram, our Letterboxd, everything. And also go and find us on the T-Plug store to help out the channel. Now, let's go straight into the nitty-gritty of it. This film, The Mission, is a documentary made by National Geographic. I'm going to go through the plot synopsis because people may not know of this, and I'm going to tell you the story as to why I decided to watch this film, as there were many films that I could have seen today, such as Shortcomings. There was a documentary as well done by William Shatner, which I decided not to see. I decided to see this film instead. So, a 26-year-old American missionary, John Chau, was killed as he attempted to make contact with an indigenous group off the coast of India, one of the last communities on planet Earth still living in isolation. Now, I have always been a fan of anthropology, the study of people, the study of how people talk, walk, do things, everything like that. And I also used to enjoy studying religion. I'm not religious myself, but that's, something that I was really interested in kind of the ways that people kind of practice their faith and the way that people express their kind of love for their various different deities and everything like that. So that was something that always interested me when I was younger. And a few months ago, I saw a YouTube documentary on this person, a very short one, about 5-10 minutes long, on John Chau, who is a 26-year-old American missionary, a person who goes out to try and spread the word of faith, spread the word of Christianity faith across the world to different communities and outreaches that do not kind of follow God, as they say it. This documentary was fascinating to me because the story of a person who goes to an island of inhabitants who are known to be violent, don't want to be kind of, don't want to take in the rest of the world, want to stay kind of solitary, and he ends up getting killed. That's not a spoiler, that's just the news that happened in real life. It's a documentary documenting this event. And it's a really interesting one because it kind of pushes not just the human condition of how far a person is willing to go to get what they want, but also should we interfere with other things out of our control. And this film plays to both sides of a very interesting debate. For a lot of the film, it talks about kind of what is being a missionary and kind of, going off and spreading the word of God. And they talk about different communities where it's worked very well. They talk about different communities where it hasn't worked at all. People have been murdered and killed for it. And they talk about this situation specifically with such a young person, 26, like younger than me, which is crazy to think that he kind of ended up in that situation. It's a fascinating debate, and it covers both grounds. It covers the grounds of the people who supported him on his mission, and the people who kind of thought he was doing the will of God, and the people who were very against it, who kind of said, well, you ended up getting yourself killed over a message that you don't even know the outcome was negligent. Like, they're still going to be isolated on their own. You've just gone and got yourself killed trying to do something like that. And it's a fascinating film. It was absolutely riveting. I really enjoyed it. It's early days in the festival, but currently I've seen 2 films, and this one has been my favorite so far, which is not much to say. I know it'll chop and change as we go through, but this one's definitely going to stick with me for a while, especially because I love documentaries, and because it's National Geographic, it's probably going to end up on Disney Plus soon enough. But this documentary took a very interesting style as well. A lot of the film is told through John Chau's diary, which is narrated by kind of various different voice actors kind of portraying his father, portraying his childhood friends. They even talked to a couple of his childhood friends and, people who helped him on his journey to being kind of a Christian missionary, and their roles in kind of pushing him further forwards towards this goal of trying to visit North Sentinel Island, which is the island that has the Sentinelese people, the people who want to stay non-contacted to the world. And in the parts where they can't interview the actual people there, they animate it. They animate kind of his own journal. They animate certain interviews with people, and it's a really kind of nice kind of palette of colors that spread across the screen whilst you're kind of learning about what we can't actually see. They don't do reenactments as in like having actors reenacting the actual scene. They just have it as merely like a sketching or, a painting that you could kind of peer into. And that actually runs as a theme of the film. The guy, John Chau, was inspired by Voyage of the Dawn Treader. He was inspired by various different forms of media to try and escape from reality and try and kind of, spread the good word, shall we say. It's a really heartbreaking film, to say the least. Yeah, there are certain points where it's kind of delves into kind of, different cultures and, what colonialism and kind of, the regrets behind that and everything like that. It also delves into National Geographic kind of glorifying their own film, glorifying kind of their previous issues and kind of saying, look, we maybe did wrong there in our previous issues by kind of stating that they were cannibalistic or they were incredibly violent and portraying them as that. When instead, there are reasons as to why they don't want people coming up on their shore. I mean, history of colonialism in itself, the spreading of diseases, people being captured and put into slavery, people being captured and put into freak shows and various other kind of means. So there's definite meaning behind it. And you definitely feel kind of, you feel drawn to one side of the debate here, that he knows it's a death sentence, that he's going to this island, but he's still trying. And I don't think he fully comprehends why they may be violent towards him, because he believes it's the will of God to carry him forwards. It's an amazing kind of peer into a psyche of a person who is now gone. What drives a person to push the limits and do something, as quoted in the film, so courageous yet so stupid. It's a brilliant film. I really do think people should go and watch it. It's called The Mission, and it's going to open up a fascinating debate, because it's an interesting real life story. And half the people who watch this film, or if you may be kind of quite heavily evangelical Christian, you may see him as a martyr of trying to spread the good word, but they also show the other side of the kind of the coin and kind of show, has he actually done harm here? Because he's just pushed it further back by trying to do it on his own, trying to come forwards and even in his non-threatening way, trying to kind of preach the Bible to these people. They don't want to be disturbed, and you've gone and disturbed their island. It's a really, really interesting dive-in film. I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, there isn't really much more I can say. It's a documentary, so the kind of cinematography, some of it's handheld, some of it's kind of interviewed, talking head styled. It's a mix of that. The animation is fantastic in it. And apart from that, just as far as documentary filmmaking, it's above all else an interesting story. It's a story that will capture you, and it's a story that definitely had me. I mean, I already knew the story, but even watching kind of a long form version of what I'd previously seen as like a 5-10 minute YouTube video, you get so much more from it. You get so much more when it's fully documented. So once again, The Mission 2023, because there are other films called The Mission. I would highly recommend this film. And yeah, there's not much more I can say other than go follow us on our social media channels, because that is exactly where you're going to find all of the various different films we're covering during this event. So please go and follow us on there. We're keeping a Twitter thread going throughout the entire festival. We've got updates on Instagram, Facebook updates as well. There's loads of things that you can follow us on here on our Linktree link. So go and do that, and also go into the description and pick up some merch, help out the channel. so we can continue doing this and things at the festival. Anyway, thank you for watching. There will be more film reviews probably coming out tomorrow. I mean, it's a busy period. There's going to be loads of stuff coming out on the channel. But yes, thank you for listening to my review of The Mission 2023, and I will see you on the next one.